Arc or Arch Echo to the moon. Welcome back to Hybrid Theory. I'm Aurian Archive. Let's get started. All right. The I think what I might do today is kind of the same thing that I did yesterday. I'll pop open the Google propaganda feed on my phone and have a quick glance and see what it is that Google would like me to see today and comment on it. Since I figured that might be more interesting than watching two low-level characters rumble through. Oh, wait, I need to get a. Come here, team time. That might be slightly important. Okay, defeat all outcasts in the second base. Make sure we're going to the same place. All right. First up is a story about I'm signing up for the Android Auto beta test, and so should you. Actually, that's probably a pretty good idea. I'm also signed up for the Android Auto beta test, and probably should go into why. The car that I'm presently driving um, has support for Android Auto. It's a Kia, and it doesn't exactly work properly. And what I mean by it doesn't exactly work properly in that is that there is a hidden equalizer on the phone that I am using. Uh, is when I plug the phone in, and it's a Snapdragon 888 phone, one of the cheaper versions you can get of that. And since it'll probably become relevant, yes, I was suckered into buying uh, the Red Magic 6 Racing by the ZTE Zelda Tango Echo ZTE sub-brand Nubia. And uh, um, okay, under the Trump administration, there were accusations leveled against ZTE that they were producing malware that was being leveraged by the CCP. A whole big fuss on sanctions, and ZTE would have to do such and such and such, and it became a they basically became a pawn in the trade war against China. Uh, and part of the reason that I picked up one of the Red Magic phones is it's the same reason why I've worked on Honor phones that people have bought. I've worked on Huawei phones. I go out of my way to if I know somebody who has a phone from from a vendor that accusations have been leveled against of CCP malfeasance, I do at least want to make an attempt to see whether or not I can independently verify those claims. Now, straight out in respect to the Red Magic 6 Racing, I'm fully aware that model numbers on phones are effectively assigned at random or in series. So getting a phone with the model number NP, what is this? MP666. Yeah, kind of. I'm not sure if that's deliberately intentional yanking chains or if that was just the previous phone on the series was 665, so of course this one had to be 666. Anyways, to the best of my technical ability in a wire trap scenario, that is to say, isolating the phone so that its only network connection is through a wired or Wi-Fi connection. In this case, using a simple USB to Ethernet adapter over a contained network connection. I have found no specific evidence of software malfeasance. There's no extra data being transmitted by the red magic that I would not expect from any other Android device with an identical platform. All the data that is transmitted in a network trap, I'm fairly confident, is supposed to be being transferred. That is to say, whenever I ask for something from Google Play, whenever a text message is sent, whenever a call is sent, I'm not seeing data that is entering or leaving the phone that is not within the that is outside of the realm of expected data flow. That being said, the concern of secret, malicious software embedded in the phone is a pretty big concern. And this is where we get to the problem zone going with Android Auto, where there is a hidden equalizer somewhere contained within the phone. Every time I plug it up to Android Auto, the quality of music being played doesn't matter the application, be it YouTube Music, Pulsar, Power Amp, or VLC. Those are the ones that I've tested. There is an immediate drop to sound quality as though the lowest possible bit and transfer speed is being sent. Now, there are some known hidden components to the phone. There is a Dolby, no, not Dolby. Sorry, who's Dolby competitor? DTS-X has a mixer that is exposed through YouTube. But the mixer apparently should be able to can be cut in on any audio stream. Or at least that's the running theory. There is a Qualcomm aptX override buried deep in the system. There are a number of different sub-functions that, if I turn them on or off, that are applicable to either Android Auto or YouTube Music or Qualcomm, flicking them on and off, and I get the music disrupts, is disturbed, something interferes with the stream. In some cases, when I immediately updated into the Android Auto beta, the phone suddenly started transmitting the music normally, indicating that the problem, whatever it is somewhere within the Android Auto software stack. Where in the Android Auto software stack? I don't know. How in the Android Auto stack? I don't know. I don't have access to any other Snapdragon 888 device to check and see if this is a problem specifically with the Red Magic operating system build. I am working on bringing up a older Leico that I have on hand. That should be I should be able to upgrade to Android 11 through either Revolution Remix or Resurrection Remix or Lineage OS, because the X2 phone is still in almost any Snapdragon 8.82 platform or 82X platform is still well supported in terms of Lineage and Resurrection upgrades. So I may have a device that I can check and see whether or not it is an issue specifically with the Android software stack in regards to Android 11, or alternatively, uh, an issue specifically with the Nubia spin on Android. Uh, so yeah, getting involved with the Android Auto beta test, because if it's something that's Android, whoops, run. Well, that's one way to catch up in EXP. No, wait, we're still below level 10. No debt. Uh, that was level 8. If I can go get Frostwork, that would be a big help. I'm pretty sure Whirling Hands is later. Yeah. I'm either going to get a Blade of Carapace. So I'm just going to zip to the hospital. We're going to grab that level. And the trainer. Here's Foreshadow. I really hate this costume. Okay, what level can I get Whirling Hands at? Whirling Hands is going to be level 16, so I've got a while to go to get that. Evolving Armor is level 12. That's my PBAOE taunt. Alright, do I go with a second attack so I can... Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and grab Bone Smasher rather than a Blade of Carapace so that I get an extra attack. And we'll grab Frostwork. Or I'm I may be waiting for M30 Grenade instead of Buckshot. Alright. M30 Grenade is what? Level 10. Okay, I can get M30 Grenade next, so we'll get Frostwork now. And that'll allow me to drop a regen debuff. Okay. Okay. So, anyways, kind of trying to finish up on the uh, Android Auto uh, front. I I know I ran past an enemy. At least I thought I did. But I'm not seeing anyone. Here's where she went upstairs. Alright, there was the single enemy. Yeah, no, if I had been swept into defensive armor, I probably would have lived through that. Okay, that didn't quite bring us back even. Oh, no debt yet, so okay. Anyways, I have not been able to determine any actual spyware or malicious software own the Red Magic 6 Racing, but because of the hidden equalizer issue, there is still apparently something capable of being gone on at an operating system level, and that's the kind of thing that, well, raises suspicions. There may not be anything there, but because there's something that the user cannot directly control going on, there's no escaping that suspicion of misbehavior, even if there is no actual misbehavior. But like, anyways, to kind of go back where I was talking about that, one of the things I am planning on doing is, assuming I can get the Lay Eco updated to uh, Android 11, and then uh, cross-check the Android Auto. If it still misbehaves on the Android 11 Auto stack on the Laico, then the problem is obviously in the Android Auto software stack. If the problem goes away on the Laico, if the Laico does not have that problem once upgraded to Android 11, then the problem has to be lower in the software stack. Oh, hello, Mr. Bedrock. Come on, debuffer, get in there. But that is my plan to test right now. And yeah, I am aware that Umadigi, the brand I normally buy from, uh, mostly because their phones tend to be inexpensive and I can afford them because they're inexpensive, and I'll happily sacrifice the overall performance of a MediaTek over a Snapdragon to get a device that if it gets trashed, I mean, come on, I do a canal trail at like 12 miles per hour average on a mountain bike. Uh, the risk of plowing into a tree is kind of significant. Anyway, so okay, that was the first story, Android Auto beta test. Yeah, you might want to join it, especially if you've got a car that's capable of doing Android Auto. Dragon Ball story: 11-year-old discovers loophole in new eggs lottery system, buys RTX 390. Uh, Something smells rotten about the story, but I couldn't tell you what. Uh, uh, that's interesting. Nanometer no more. Intel changes its process names to match Taiwan semiconductors. That's actually probably pretty significant because Intel has always been pretty obnoxious about deliberately being vague about what process they're using. Maybe this could be, after your company starts losing money and losing market share, maybe you should stop uh being a jerk and confusing people on purpose. Maybe. Chinese built Longsoon CPU just as fast as AMD's original Ryzen chips. Okay. Um. Yeah. I'm gonna call bullshit on this story without even reading it. And here, this came up in a previous live stream. Different architectures are better at processing different kinds of instructions. Not all computing architectures are exactly the same. Not all computing architectures can be equated to each other. The MediaTek ARM processors, on average, are weaker and less powerful and less capable than Snapdragons of the same relative frequency performance. That's not really a question, it's just a statement of fact. In the past, previously, MediaTek simply hasn't done as good a job at managing the performance bias of the ARM architecture as as Qualcomm has and as Samsung has with Xinos. Uh, so, printing a story that Longsoon is just as fast as the first generation, the Ryzen uh, 1700 series. Oh, hello. Nice little shield tanker there, or shield scrapper. I'm just gonna go toss cold shields on him. He probably doesn't need him. Oh, he's a scrapper. He definitely is gonna need him. There you go. Have some ice. Okay, getting back to the Longsoon CPU. I don't really doubt for a hello. Okay, anyways, I don't doubt that the Longsoon CPU is able to reach a certain frequency compared to the that is comparatively, if you're talking in terms of how fast can the processor clock. I don't doubt that the CCP's internal ARM processors are capable of reaching a certain amount of performance throughput. I don't doubt that. I do very seriously doubt that architecture for architecture, instruction for instruction, performance for performance in all scenarios. I seriously doubt that Longsoon is comparable to Ryzen. Now, it may be able to post identical benchmark scores. Slight problem being, well, the Ryzen is a few years old by now. Their first Ryzen. AMD's already on literally their Zen 3. Well, they're technically on their fourth generation because you have Zen, Zen Plus, Zen 2, Zen 2 Plus, and Zen 3. So AMD's, depending on how you're counting it, either 4 or 5 generations ahead of where where the first Ryzen series started out at. And the first Ryzen series wasn't exactly performative. I mean, okay, yes, it closed the gap with Intel processors, but in a number of scenarios, specifically single thread performance, the Ryzen still fell behind. The first Ryzen still fell very far behind the Intel processors. And that's not a question, that's a statement. The uh, power for power, performance for performance, clock for clock, the first Ryzen were still pretty far behind where the Intel processors were in certain performance tasks. Now, if you are a processor developer, you're not aiming for where a processor was. You're aiming for where a processor will be because that's how you make sales. If you come out with a new processor that's only as powerful as a 4-year-old processor, only meets a 4-year-old processor's performance, you'd better be selling a really cheap processor, or you'd better have a very good manufacturing system that you can afford to sell this processor for much less, or make the processor. You just can't roll in, equal a 4-year-old processor and expect to make sales. Now, the reason why the Longsoon is important is because it's one of the CCP's weapons in maintaining calculatory control over digital currencies. Now, personally, Longsoon's not going to be promoted for that. I really think that the CCP is going to go with the 128 core, 256 core ARM processor designs instead of Longsoon, but Longson at least gives them something to put in a greater range of press coverages, I think, would be the best way to say it. Long soon. Okay, so long soon. It's nothing really special. Don't automatically believe that yes, it's rise and matcher. In real calculations, in real complex set instruction computing scenarios where the processor has to do more than just a canned benchmark, it's probably, well, it probably won't have any problem beating Intel's of a certain time, but it's not a Zen competitor. It's not. And okay, I know some people are aware that AMD did sell some technology in such a way that yes, the CCP could possibly produce an x86 64 processor that is predicated on AMD's technologies. That is possible without having overtly stolen the processor tech. That being said, again, we're looking at a new processor that is only as performative as a four or five generation old processor. There's just not anything there to really write about. Okay. New navigation app launches on Android Auto, more than a Google Maps alternative. Ooh, I may have to look that one up. What is that? Uh, okay, who is it? Who is it? Gaia GPS. I'm going to have to look into Gaia GPS, see what that's about, because I'm not familiar with it. I am looking for alternatives to Google Maps, most because I'm not really sure I'm entirely too comfortable with giving a Google a direct listing of every address I've been to in the past. So yeah, gonna have to look into that one. What's the most iconic Sonic the Hedgehog song? Either I'd go with Sonic Boom or uh, Open Your Heart. But that's just me. 9 best laptop for fashion designers. I'm not a fashion designer. I just want a laptop I can afford and actually works. Okay, in fairness, I do have an Acer Aspire 5 with the Ryzen 3200U. And I have used it before for City of Heroes. I have streamed from it. I have used it as an OBS streaming platform before. And kind of some people, act, well, why don't you use it more often? And the answer really comes down to my cat dropped it on the floor. Yeah, my cat got tangled up in the power cord. The laptop went bonk. And okay, since then, I have not been able to determine anything wrong with the laptop. I mean, nothing overtly doesn't work. There doesn't do any processing. The fan got a little loud. I think it got dropped on the fan. Thanks to the lessening of the artificial component shortage, I was able to get a new fan for it recently. And since I put the new fan in and kind of smoothed out the dent in the bottom, it's been working fine. Uh, why don't I use it for this? Well, mostly because this is kind of all coming. What I'm doing now is mostly coming back to the Steam Deck because if I can get hands on a Steam Deck, that probably will become my default streaming content generation platform. I mean, if I could get my hands on two Steam Decks, then I could just uh, record into one. That'd be nice. Uh, really give it a workout. Okay, so going down the list. Here's why there are only 10 hot dogs in a pack, but only 8 buns. Why? Sometimes I really gotta ask why there are certain stories in my feed. Nubia Z30 Pro Black Gold Legend limited edition starts pre-sale at $925 US. Okay, giving Nubia the benefit of the doubt that the hidden equalizer is not in the Nubia Red Magic phone, that it's not actually Red Nubia's fault, that it is a problem with Android Auto or it's a problem with Qualcomm. Giving the benefit of the doubt here, would I be interested in the Z30 Pro? Again, I haven't found any evidence of deliberate uh, deliberate intentional misbehavior or collusion or a software package in my phone that would make me think that the CCP is doing something with my phone. So, I don't know. I mean, looking at it, it looks really nice. I harbor no doubt it's still going to be a better phone than anything Apple puts out, but that's not really saying much. Black Panther's Hulkbuster suit is stronger than Iron Man's armor. Okay, I realize I'm saying this while I'm actually playing a superhero game, but I don't freaking. Alright, technically, I do know why this story is in my feed. CDR, or Comic Book Resource, does tend to have some good stories and good fan analysis of some subjects that I'm interested in. So I do occasionally click through on CBR articles. However, clicking through on one or two CBR articles normally turns into getting a flood of CBR recommendations. And here's a good example of a story that I probably would read. My Hero Academia, Deiko's Class 1A friends share their favorite memories with him. Yeah, that actually is kind of a story I would be interested in. So, and it's from CBR, so yeah, I would click through on that. 10 ways Marvel can clean up the X-Men lore. Yeah, here's a hint. Burn everything to the ground. Alright, this really comes back to kind of the stream I want to do, but I don't want to get into it because no matter where I start on it is an ugly ending and it's going to take a while to process. So I'm going to kind of skip that one for now. Not interested in Olympic photos, not interested in Olympic medals. Chernobyl, Chernobylite review, no thanks. Fang the Sniper or Knack the Weasel. Character creator Tuama explains the two names. Okay, I guess that's a Sonic thing because it's from the Sonic Stadium. Google brings the Android data restore tool to the Play Store following backup overhaul. Okay. Nintendo might have actually resolved its Switch Joy-Con drift issues. Okay, gonna take a second and read that story. What are you asking? Oh, what we had. Oh, oh yeah, Flux can give two. Well, that's just awkward. Flux did not give the same mission to both characters. Oh well, that just means more EXP. Okay, let's read that story. Uh, Okay, apparently Nintendo has been putting foam inside the Joy-Con controllers to fix drift. I'm not really sure what to make of that because I've had drift on a lot of controllers that weren't made by Nintendo, specifically Power A, 8-bit Do, and I don't know that they're all pulling from the same upstream components. Um, don't care about Marvel. Okay, Debian Linux running bare metal on Apple's M1 system on a chip. Okay, yeah. First of all, that is actually big news. Second of all, we are finally getting to the point with bare metal kernels running on Apple hardware where we'll get some firm answers on exactly why Apple's hardware is so performative. My theory has been Apple is leveraging the GPU to perform floating point operations and is using its own internal compilers to push floating point performance onto the GPUs. Now, we'll see whether or not, now that the Linux kernel is really being built in such a way that it can run on bare metal, apparently, on the M1 hardware, we'll see if that we'll see how because we know how the default Linux kernel runs on standard non-deviant ARM hardware, and maybe we'll get some better answers on how exactly Apple is getting the performance that it claims to be getting that doesn't really make sense that it should be getting, if that made sense. Okay. 5 games to play if you like Dead Space. Which one? Intel teases Fortune Meteor Lake CPUs with tile design and 192 execution units. Uh, okay, I know that Intel is desperate. They really need a market hit, but even Intel is admitting that their own processors aren't really going to be performant competitive for a while. I wouldn't get excited about Meteor Lake yet. Okay, scrolling down, My Hero, it's a cosplay story. 80, AMD Radeon RX 6600 XT and RX 6600 prices leak. No, they did not leak. Look, AMD only has a narrow market window to actually position the 6600 series so that it can actually sell. All eyes are on Intel Z GPUs because Intel is touting $400 for a Z GPU that can take on an NVIDIA's RTX 380 and perform in standard Vulkan performance, leaving RTX ray tracing for a side, just in frame per frame, rendering per rendering, standard Vulkan performance. To some developers are reporting that Intel's high-end Z GPU, Xe GPU, is trading blows in the same area as the RTX 380. Now, with that price cap on there, that RTX 380 performance for $400, and that means from Intel they might be able to produce a GPU that does RTX 370 performance for $300, and that means they can probably do RTX 360 performance for $200. That doesn't leave AMD a lot of room. If their 6600, oh hello, that's my cat. If the 6600 XT is only here, my cat has decided to join me. I'm gonna purr for the camera. Gonna purr for the microphone. And she could give me a meow. All right. So with that pricing structure down, Intel has basically set the stage. AMD either has to put their RTX 360 competitor in at $200 or AMD doesn't sell a single product. That's as simple as it is. Nvidia is really being faced with a point. They're either going to have to crater the cost on the RTX cards, and that means we will probably see the same thing that happened with the 1660. We will see an RTX less card falling in, the maybe the GTX 3060 or the GTX 3055 because it's not an RTX 360. We'll probably see that with the CUDA cores uh, removed from the graphics processor to get a cheaper part that NVIDIA can sell. So the pricing strategy here has basically been predetermined by what Intel thinks they can sell their card at and the performance that Intel is apparently with some developers already getting with Vulkan graphics on pre-production hardware. Now, of course, I am referring to the DG2 and the DG2 derivatives, not to the DG1. The DG1 is, as I understand it, primarily intended as an integrated graphic card that's supposed to be aimed at the ultralight notebook market, which, not really sure how well that's going to go over. I don't think that's leading off with a good foot, but hey, I'm not the one running Intel. So, no, the prices haven't leaked so much as AMD and NVIDIA are finding themselves being put into a rather awkward position that they don't have an easy way out of. Okay, I'm gonna have to book it. Two bosses was just, I should have swapped into defensive mode. But they have gone up. But I don't have a teleport power. All I have is translocate. Okay. Dragon Ball Super. Can Vegeta actually beat Granola? No. And it's like, I like Dragon Ball. I like Dragon Ball Z. I like, kind of like Dragon Ball Super, but it's. Uh, no, it's. The Granola arc has not been going on long enough in the manga for Vegeta to have a beat Granola down moment yet. It's doesn't feel right, if that makes sense. Okay, scrolling on down further, best fitness tracker 2021. All right, speaking of fitness trackers, I actually do have a new one. I got it a couple months ago. It's actually a rather cheap one. It's from Amazfit slash Zep. Yes, they are a Chinese company. Yes, they do a lot of research in Chinese hospitals. Are you trying to tell me that your food bowl is empty? I'll be back in a moment. I think my cat is trying to tell me that he's hungry. Either that or I'm in his chair, or there's a rainstorm coming. I'm not really sure what he's trying to tell me. All right, hang on. Let's give him a hug. All right, anyway, so I picked up the lowest end Amazfit. Uh, and supposedly later this year, this device is supposed to get a pulse beats, a way to track blood pressure through the optical sensor. Okay, now when it comes to anything that's made in China, the standard caveat uh, has to be made. The CCP could technically have access to the data of any data that's stored in communist China. To the best of my tracking abilities, and I may fling this live stream at Amazfit/Zep. As far as I can tell, uh, there is a medical database that is processed on the phone. But as far as I can tell, that data is kept either unique to the phone or unique to the account, and it appears that Amazfit has a serious base here in the U.S. They are making a legitimate effort uh, to uh, get the software in the hands of people who have concerns. I'm not aware of a. I don't know if their actual operating system, because it may be based on Android. It may not be. I'm not really sure what it's based on. Uh, okay. Gonna have to go a bit of metadata here. A lot of whenever I deal with a Chinese company, whenever I use a Chinese company product, one of the things I keep my ears open for is what the dissidents in China, the Christians under persecution, the Uyghurs who have managed to escape the concentration camps and have gone undetected. I do keep track of what those kind of people say, and from everything that I have can gather from a metadata standpoint, there haven't been any of the dings leveled against Zeb that have been dinged against, say, Xiaomi, which, okay, I'm not sure why, because I'm pretty sure there's an ODM connection there. But for what it's for, again, going back to running an intentional network trap, looking for information that should be transmitted that should not be transmitted, I have not seen any evidence of that in the Zep app. I'm not saying that Zep is trustworthy. I may not have enough information. I am saying that the Zep products do work. They do function in a way that I expect them to. They do an accurate enough job. I would probably buy one again. And so far, the company has not done anything to cause me a level of distrust in their operations. All right, moving on down. Ugh, race baiting. I hate these stories. From Newsweek, so we already know it's slopaganda at the best. It's intended to cause rage and fear, uncertainty, and doubt, and the headline is Black Rider faces would fall flat seeing Jungle Cruise's imagery. Rides ex-operator. Uh, just I I I don't even know where to start with this. The only way that your face would fall flat upon seeing Jungle Cruise's imagery if you were of a non-Caucasian or if you were of a specific genetic descent, as this article so crassly puts it, black riders. If your face is going to fall flat upon going on the Jungle Cruise, uh, you're looking, you're going, you're looking to cause a problem. You're not at the park for fun. You're not at the park to have a good time. You're not at the park to relax and sit back and have a good family time. You are there to make trouble. You are you have gone there for the explicit purpose of making a scene and making sure that everybody knows that you are making a scene. Just there's propaganda and then there's just ugh. Okay. Next one. This is from Notebook Check. Actually, Notebook Check has, as far as I can tell, been a pretty reliable source when it comes to giving factual information on hardware. And their story is no 3 nanometers for the A16 Bionic. Qualcomm and MediaTek tipped to beat Apple in the race to 3 nanometer chipsets. No duh. There's a big flash in the story there. Okay, I really should approach that one a little more professionally than a bilingual. Here's your sign. Apple is not the hardware and software powerhouse that the press would like consumers to believe Apple is. Apple products are routinely underspec'd, overpriced, with terrible build quality. If you buy an Apple product and you're expecting the maximum performance and bang for your buck, eh, you're just deluding yourself. You really are. All right. Now, as to the story, what's important to keep in mind here is that Apple, as of yet, does not actually own any foundries that I am aware of. Now, caveat, uh, Apple is making a number of industrial moves. It is possible that with the recent fab expansions and the loosening of regulations by the Trump administration and through work with Secretary Pompeo of the Trump administration, that Apple may be able to have its own fabrication facility for the processing of silicon parts or non-silicon parts active in the US as early as 2022. So, caveat there, Apple does not have a fabrication facility that I am aware of yet, but that does not mean that a fabrication facility is not imminent in regards to future appearances. Now, as to Qualcomm and MediaTek, MediaTek does have some fabrication capacity, but MediaTek chipsets are, I believe, fabbed normally through TSMC, Taiwan Semiconductors, manufacturing, whatever. So, keeping that in mind, whoever gets to the 3 nanometer first, and we do know that Apple tries to place a lot of sales in advance, but I do believe that Apple is right now probably positioning their sales and performance to bring fabrication in-house instead of relying on third parties. I it there I- yeah, it's Apple probably won't be the first for a number of architectural improvements in the near to short term. And I think that is because Apple is trying to vertically integrate even more of the construction of their equipment. Excuse me. Okay, continuing on down. Obsidian Entertainment may be doing Avowed a disservice. I have no idea what they're on about. I mean, okay, yeah, Obsidian's owned by Microsoft, but uh, part of me kind of going, do I care? Not particularly. Let's see what they say. Avowed might have to compete with Obsidian Entertainment's other projects for resources, which. Quick question, and it's a simple one. Who owns Obsidian Entertainment right now? I mean, really, who owns Obsidian Entertainment? Open up your Google, open up your DuckDuckGo, open up your whatever, open up your Siri, and ask who owns Obsidian. I'm pretty sure that if you go to DuckDuckGo.com, and I realize that since I don't have the browser window set to stream, I'm doing this kind of off screen. So, email protection beta, that's interesting. From DuckDuckGo. Okay, so who owns Obsidian Games? Okay, first entry is from Wikipedia. Obsidian Entertainment is American video game developer based in Irvine, California. It's a type subsidiary, and its current parent is Xbox Game Studio. Obsidian Entertainment is owned by Microsoft, who is literally throwing money, I mean, like big, keeping barrelfuls of money into the Xbox entertainment software ecosystem. Microsoft's gone head over heels for the home entertainment market and producing an excellent console with excellent value. I suspect that if Obsidian's boss goes and looks Phil Spencer in the face and says, yeah, Avowed doesn't have enough resources. We're probably going to need some more in order to complete it. Phil Spencer's going to be like, cool, hang right there. Let me make some calls. And a few minutes after that, Obsidian's going to have a flood of developers who may have been working on another project come storming in going, okay, what do you need us to do? I mean, Microsoft at this point literally has special teams whose entire purpose is to provide software support for other developers within Microsoft. I don't think Obsidian's going to run out of talent. And okay, we'll go ahead and I'm going to ask another question, and we'll type this into DuckDuckGo as well. Who owns Bethesda? Oh, again, it's Xbox Games. It's a subsidiary a subsidiary of Microsoft who purchased out ZeniMax. So, the one game company who may have a clue about how to work with Obsidian's tech and work with Obsidian because they worked with Obsidian in the past, just happened to be under the same umbrella and headquartered, within the same company. I don't think Obsidian's going to run out of resources to make any one of their games. And to be perfectly blunt on this, I halfway see Phil Spencer telling Obsidian, "You now run Bethesda. Do what you need to do to clean your act up." I see how that one's going down. Next one is Loki director. Yeah, I watched some of Loki. I don't think the director ever actually watched any other movie in the MCU or previous MCU. All right, TLC's Mirror Shade TVs plug an extra monitor onto my face. Uh, this is another one where the idea of a personal monitor sitting right in your face has been around for several years. Excuse me. All right. Anyways, they never work quite as expected. And if you're someone like me who has eye problems, they're even worse than you probably think they are. Pass. Surface 2 Duo leaks Microsoft could address a major complaint of the original. All right, fair enough. This is from Android Authority, and this is another one where Android Authority has been, in, from my experience, a pretty reliable on the news, tech coverage front. All right, and now we swap missions. Now it's Pandemoniums, defeat gang leader and crews. And Rabbitanium gets rescue the cops. Behold, leveling the old-fashioned way. Okay, as far as the Surface 2 Duo, this again comes back to what I was just ranting about. Microsoft has gone head over heels, full blown, face first, diving straight into supporting gaming in a big way. I harbor no doubt that upcoming service devices will be predicated on the idea of streaming Xbox Games Ultimate Pass, will be predicated on competing with the Steam Deck, will be predicated on competing with uh, whatever Nintendo Switch does. So yeah, I don't doubt that Microsoft's going to spend a lot of money and resources fixing design issues with generational products. Would I buy a Surface Duo? Uh, I don't know. I mean, it's still a Microsoft product. I mean, there always is for me going to be little bit of leeriness there. And okay, yeah, I don't regret buying the Xbox Series X. I mean, technically, I'm still paying for it on the Games Pass Ultimate plan, which, okay, was one of the reasons why I bought it because I could get it. I can play those modern games because I can't get the hardware to update my desktop computer. And the 1660 that I'm playing on, which remarkably has been reliable over the last week, and really kind of shocked. I mean, I've had a couple of teething issues, but nothing major, or nothing that I couldn't work around. Anyway, so I'm not so sure that this is a leak so much as Microsoft's kind of making sure nobody forgets that the Surface mobile Android products are a thing. From Bella to Lost Souls, Netflix's Masters of the Universe Revelation has the power. No, it doesn't. It's been an absolute disaster. Has already cost Netflix a number of subscribers, as in people watch the series, and like um a certain percentage, Netflix has got very coy about saying how many watch the series, and then within uh about 5 or 6 minutes of the series ending, canceled their subscription to Netflix. The audience rating on Rotten Tomatoes was at 30% and falling. Critics can't hide this turkey. I mean, it's Masters of the Revelation lived up to the axiom: go woke, go broke. You lie if a media company, if a media publisher lies, outright lies to the public about the product that they made, yeah, they're going to get called on it and they're going to lose money. Now, how much money will Netflix lose on Masters of the Universe? Probably not much. More than likely, Netflix had a couple of other side contracts going. They probably got paid by some kind of foundation or grant company or something. They had somebody who was bankrolling Masters of the Universe for its political and social messaging. Of that I harbor no doubt. Netflix already made the money back on Masters of the Universe before they even started paying anybody for the animation. It was already covered. So moving on, deploying Microsoft's new Linux distribution as a VM is not easy. The new stack. Well, again, if you're using virtual machines, okay, if you are not familiar with the red pill virtual machine exploit, well, run. Sorry, I was too hung up on watching that to pay attention to my health. How embarrassing. Okay. All right. Going back to an earlier comic. If you are running a Linux inside a virtual machine, you should be prepared for various teething issues. You should be prepared for some things not to work exactly as you expect. Yes, there are Linux distributions that are designed to be run as a virtual machine. But that doesn't mean that's the way you should test them or try to get them up and working. Bare hardware is almost always going to be better. You're going to see more of the native performance, more of the native capabilities exposed on bare metal than you are on a virtual machine. That it's not easy, well, again, you had Microsoft in there. I mean, they're trying, but there's a vast gulf between trying. I'm just going to skip the next one because it's either a typo or completely idiotic. MNT Reform Review, your do-it-yourself laptop fantasy is here. Probably not. Not impressed. 11-year-old boy discovers workaround to snag an NVIDIA RO390 graphics card. I already went over that earlier. Something smells fishy. Monster Hunter Rise giving out a special Palamute. Yeah, don't play it. Don't care. Another Marvel DC who's worthy to hold Mulder. Huh. Report. Sony updates PlayStation Home trademark for second time this year. Yeah, because PlayStation Home worked so well the first go around. So did Second Life. Moving on. Mobile RPG Street Fighter Duel is getting a worldwide release. Don't really care. The Flash. Batman set photos offer a new look at Dark Knight. Don't really care. My Hero Academia battles Demon Slayer. Fan animation. Really? iPhone 14 Pro could be the most rugged. I kind of take issue with how the concept of mainstream is defined here, because their definition of my definition of mainstream apparently are completely and totally different. The iPhones are not a mainstream product. The iPhones are a niche product that appeal to a niche market that Apple is very good at selling to. They are not mainstream devices. They likely never will be mainstream devices. Android talks about billions of software activations on the Google Play Store a day. Apple doesn't. That's pretty much the end of the story. All right, that's actually the end of all of the slopaganda that uh, Google thought I should be seeing today, and my quick reactions to most of them, some of them which I passed over, don't have any reaction to. I need to take a small break and go get something to drink, so I'll be back. Oh, please, like you didn't see me responding at some point in time to what's going on in chat. Okay, this time, a little less dying. Damn my cat. Could have heard I. Alright, let's back her up. And use all the utilities I got. Okay. I'm not really seeing a good way. Okay, I don't see any bosses in there, so should be fine on this. Okay. Alright, now while I'm back on it, Gaia GPS. Let's have a look for them. Gaia GPS, hiking off-road maps from Trail Behind Incorporated. Huh. Given how often I go out to woods to ride a bike, that may be. Topographic maps and trails for hikers, day hiking, hunting, camping, overlanding, backcountry skiing, mountain biking. Huh. I may have another reason to give Gaia a look. Let's see. It's from Trail Behind. Let's go back here. Let's do looking for group add. We'll do general add. We'll also do event messages, hero zone, and villain zone, and praetorian zone. Alright, I'll rename this to LFG. And there we go. That should make it easier to keep track of what's going on in teaming. Yeah, we may give Gaia a shot. Kind of concerned about how it's actually going to operate when you go to a place where you don't really have a good GPS signal. But I guess, what's this? An article about the MT8195 from MediaTek, which apparently is a processor being custom built for Chromebooks by MediaTek. Okay, be right back. Oh, hey. Yeah, I'm really debating whether or not I want to stick my nose into that mastermind problem. Back up, back up, back up. Alright. Alright, there's the boss. So I'm down a bit. Let's buy myself some breathing room. Okay. Okay. Oh, back up, back up, back up. Okay. Didn't bring all of them. Good. Nice pull. Yeah, I really should have something more to say. Trying to multitask and do multi different things at once. Not really sure how well it's working. Okay. Okay. Sorry, I'm kind of in both trying to multitask and I'm enjoying the music that's playing in my ears. It just, I really don't have a lot to say. I mean, well, I've got a ton to say. Just, Speedy Admiral Sutter. Good luck with that one. Kind of one of the things I'm keeping an eye on right now is how much endurance Rabbitanium is using. 'Cause she's kind of going through a significant amount of endurance. She might have to hit the. else is there to look at? Okay, kind of on a different note, Corning has announced Gorilla Glass with DX. Apparently, it's a uh, new glass that is designed specifically for cameras on phones. Uh, Typically, right now, high-end phones use some form of polycarbonate or some form of sapphire glass for their covering. Now, I have an Umidigi Bison, the original, the launch version, and it's I think powered by MediaTek P60. Um, Phone's perfectly good, but I managed to knock the glass protector out of the chassis itself, and once the glass protector was out, kind of it lost some of its water protection. Uh, and I wound up kind of trying to air dry it over a fan pointed up taking the SIM card out and pointing a fan up inside of it and just running like that. It seemed to be doing just fine now, uh, but it's just never been the same since I knocked the camera glass out. I've been trying to get a closer look at the upcoming Bison Pro, which offers a MediaTek G80 chipset, not a 5G communication dimension. Wow, they just had to pick a name that I can't pronounce unless I'm looking at it. Even then, I'm not sure if I got it right. Yes, Shadow Mall does not have a. Okay, anyway, so I am kind of looking at the Bison Pro to see if the camera mounting is any different. I really did like the Bison until I knocked the camera glass off, and then it took a bath while riding on my bike. And the replacement glass, you can get replacement glass lenses. I did get one off of AliExpress, but it never felt like it sealed properly, and I'm pretty sure it didn't. So, anyways, yeah, I am kind of looking forward to see who uses Corning Gorilla Glass DX Plus. I'm not sure that uh, not sure that we'll see it in any reasonable cost phones in a short order, but we may see some of the, and this kind of goes back to the idea of Apple being a mainstream product when the sales and the pricing really don't put it as a mainstream product. It's just not. So, oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, now we are. Who had the next mission? Defeat all trolls in base. Okay, mission. Defeat all trolls in base. Here we go. Okay, I'm still a little curious about these detail levels, so let's go I'm still on Windows graphics and audio. Says it's supposed to be on ultra. Let's go ahead and crank this up high. Okay, okay. I really don't. I don't know. Those textures still just seem washed out, incorrect. I'm not entirely sure why. See what happens when I actually change it to a cell effect intentionally. See, it almost looks like there's a cell effect when the cell shader's turned off, and I'm not really sure why. It does look a little funky. Okay, advanced graphic settings, environment reflections up, shadow up, world detail up, detail up. Yeah, move it. We'll move that on. Actually, know what? We'll see if we can. We'll do a 2x filter. Options. We'll do a 2x filter. Move both of you up. Okay. And now we'll see if these settings hold. As I entered a mission. Yeah, like it could resist rating a mistel. Troll, 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 troll. keep low, keep low, because there are trolls up top. All right, let's try and take care of the Jutal first. Oh, this just went to aggro cap. Run while I can. Okay, so yeah, anyways, I'm kind of keeping an eye on the BAF. Wow. I'm kind of keeping an eye on the current on the Corning Gorilla Glass DX. I guess I can close that. Excuse me. Window now. Okay. And apparently Intel will be producing Qualcomm system on a chips. Can't say I'm too surprised there. Intel's needs to get some kind of cash flow going. It's not like anyone's willingly buying an Intel product right now. And Samsung has a Neo G9 gaming monitor. Mm, I'm perfectly happy with my Nixius. All right. Nothing. The company started by Carl Pei, Carl Pine, however you pronounce his name. All right. I had synthetic ear tubes drilled, or synthetic ear canals, so I don't hear the same. The HRTF, the head related transfer function chart for me is complicated. And that the only way one was accurately achieved is that a mold was taken of my ear, and once the mold was constructed, then the HRTF mic was placed inside the mold because it wouldn't fit naturally inside my ear. So for the most part, most earbuds just don't work properly for me. I vastly prefer over the head can over the ear cans, because those at least, for the most part, give me an accurate sound production. I do have a couple of in-ear buds. Talked about them before. The Cherry MS. No, sorry, not the Cherry. They may have been made with cherry wood. Uh, Think Sounds, MSO2s. They may have been made with cherry wood, actually. They do have a wood housing, and they were the first in-ear buds where I was not noticeably losing sound quality using earbuds. And I've largely accredited this to the fact they were made using wood. They did have a different resonant sound, so they did transfer the sound differently to my ears, not going through a plastic or metallic housing definitely gave a more natural sound over more tones. The second set of earphones earbuds I've got that really sounded like they were delivering at least to my ears, complicated as they might be, have been the Anchor Soundcore Liberty Pro 2s, which use a different style of producing sound. Soundcore calls it a twin coaxial or coaxial something. They've done a side breakdown of the design, and however it works, it does actually work with my ears. Uh, I've recently, as in like the last year, I did pick up the Final Audio True Wireless earbuds through Drop, mostly because thanks to the COVID checks, I had a little bit of money, and I went, I kind of would like to buy those, so I did. That being said, the out of the box performance for the Final Audios was definitely not worth the purchase price. However, once I moved to Daconi's, I think that's how it's said, foam tips. First, I used bullets, and now Deconi actually has some foam beer earbuds that are meant for true wireless phones, and they fit perfectly fine on the Final Audios. Since I moved to those, the Final Audio produces equivalent sound to the Anchor Liberty Pro 2s, which I'm pretty sure that's kind of a damning statement because the Final Audios generally cost somewhere around $200 US, and if you shop carefully, the Liberty Pro 2 from Soundcore can be had for under $90. So $90 versus 200 plus. Sure, you're getting the Neon Genesis Evangelion voice acting, but having to add in a pair of foam pads in order to make them just equal something far less expensive, it kind of hurts. Uh, I don't know if anyone else really gets that drop on sound quality or lack of audio reproduction because of their ear canal construction. But one of the reasons why I did jump on the final audios versus, well, other than the fact I'm a sucker for anything that has Neon Genesis Evangelion printed on it, or Neon Genesis Evangelion, however you want to say it, I'm not too particular. Uh, is that I really do not like the antenna sticking out of my ears look. I mean, sure, if you want to look like a character from Star Wars or Star Trek, go for it. I prefer something a little bit more subtle and less obnoxiously built. And okay, ooh, ZTE talking about them earlier. They've incoming phone call. Gotta go take care of something. Since I'm in mission, I think I'm just gonna leave the characters here and I'll probably pick up streaming later at this point. Okay, anyways, real quick. ZTE Axon 30, it's going to have an under display camera. Now, I don't know anyone in ZTE. I really don't have any contact with their engineers. If I did, I'd have probably already solved what's going on with the Red Magic phone that I've got. Uh, but we'll go down. Would I buy the Axon 30 to try out that under display camera? Actually, probably if I hadn't just bought a Red Magic for the Qualcomm 888, uh, probably, yeah, I'd give it a pretty good look. I mean, build quality and everything else aside, and I'm not unconvinced at this point that the problem is not the problem. I don't know for a fact the problem's not something with Qualcomm software or with YouTube's music or with the YouTube, not the YouTube, the Android Auto software package. Since when I did update Android Auto, something happened and immediately the music started working until the next time something reset. So, okay, let me put it this way. uh, to go back to ZTE, I don't believe the Fuha and distrust spread around about ZTE and whatever plan they have or don't have. Uh, would I buy from them again? From a security standpoint, from anything I can determine, I've been perfectly happy with the way the software works. There's a couple of issues where, yeah, their launcher is a little obnoxious about coming back over my preferred launcher, which is Nova Launcher. But that being said, so far I've otherwise been happy with the battery life. I've been happy with the camera. I've been happy with most of the inbuilt software. And there's a question I can answer. Okay. Anyways, where I was going. Um, sorry, it's uh, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Got to be somebody I know. I'm just not sure who they are. Pretty good. Have a pretty good idea. I know who Toxic Flea was, though. Anyways, so I'll be back probably streaming later, probably rambling later. I'll probably have another list of things to just rumble down and give reactions on or talk about or uh, iPhones with upgraded titanium frames are coming, but not until 2022. Okay, I'm going to go take care of that phone call. I'll